Hi guys, Jared here with DayTradersFX.com. Nice to see you all this afternoon. Let's talk about the daily video setups that we have coming into the afternoon here. Lots of good things to talk about. Quickly, we've seen oil make a huge comeback today. Gold's had a decent day. The Dow has been the big winner though. It started off like 150 points down and has closed just about break even. S&P was about 17, 18 points down at its worst time today and has made a little bit less of a comeback, but still both have had better days than they started off having, that's for sure. Um, got a little bit of news coming up today. Trade balance for New Zealand, and we have some Bank of Japan stuff later on tonight as well. We had some positive European numbers out of France and Germany on their PMI numbers, which got the euro moving pretty well. And then we had some positive unemployment claims and housing numbers out of the U.S. as well, which caused a bit of activity. Coming into tomorrow, we have got German IFO. This is a bit of a mover, so let's not forget about it. German IFO coming up, and durable goods tomorrow morning, also a pretty big mover. So we'll keep an eye on both of those. Okay, so the euro dollar, we had this big spike down post FOMC stuff yesterday. Euro came crashing down, and then it's just right back up again. This was all started with some of the positive IFO, or excuse me, PMI numbers out of France and Germany, and here it is right back up again. So I was looking initially at the high and low of this range, about 175 pips or so. And looking for some fib levels. You can see it that ran perfectly, to the 23 and beyond into the 38 and to the 50 and the 61.8. Now it's consolidating just above this 61.8. So what I'm looking for, I'm still very bearish on the euro dollar. I'm not ready to concede that this is heading up now. But we do have a pretty big candle here. We're getting a bit of a bounce. We've got a lot of that stuff in the works. And so what I'm watching for specifically is 129. I said in Twitter today 129.95, and I guess it's 129.97. So basically 130. We'll just say 130. We'll call it 130 even, which is essentially the high of this big candle here. I'm watching that level, and I'm watching the high of last week, which was 130.20, 28.29 again. So if we round these up, 130 and 130.30 are the two big levels I'm watching for right now, and I want to short against either one or both of these. If this starts to come down, much more, and I'm going to draw some fib levels in here in just a moment, we'll show you that. If this starts to come down much more, then I'm just going to have my stops above this 129.97 and start shorting this thing back towards the target that I'm looking for, which is 127.50, 12700. So again, if we just reverse our fib levels here from the low to the high, because we've had a pretty decent range here today of again about 100 and change pips, 130, 140 pips. If we look at that range, you can see that about 129.25 is our 23% fib. If we get back below this thing, then I think we're probably and possibly pretty safe for this continuation back down. But I do want to get back below that 129.25-ish area, to again just head in obviously into 12900 and then ultimately into these lower levels, retest these lows again, and finally break and head into 12700 and 12750. So that's kind of what I'm looking for right here. So if we get a good clearance of this area here, I'll have my stops basically at about 130, 130.03, something like that, and some profit targets down here just a bit lower. Ultimately targeting 12700 and 12750. Pound dollar, if we're looking at the high to low range of this week here, what we see on the pound dollar is a nice little run. It consolidated around the 23% fib. We were talking about this, and then it just spiked up into that 30. So there are 38. Nice little run there. I'm still interested in probably shorting the pound dollar somewhere around 151.50 to 151.75, somewhere in this 50 to 61.8 range. Again, with stops, kind of at or above the weekly high of about 100 to 115 pips. But from here, I think we can safely target 150 again and even 14900. So pretty good risk-reward ratio, and I think we should see a nice little move and a nice little potential run there. But just kind of looking at this short-term move, I think this is a little retracement, a little pullback, and we should be able to see a continuation down here, hopefully. Definitely below 15200, which is where we want to stay, but we'll have some stops at around this 152 kind of 80, 90 area, which is the weekly high. So that's kind of what I'm looking for on the pound dollar for the moment. Aussie dollar, just keep a super close eye on 98.40. Above 98.40, we're probably going to get a run into 9900. Not super far, but I'd say 9900. Below 98.40, I think we have some interesting opportunities. Again, to trade this guy. So on this rundown, we ran up and we're consolidating right at the 61.8. Again, if we reverse this and we look at what it's done just in the last several hours, now again, we start to have some opportunities to trade this 23 and this break below that. So if we start getting below that 23% fib right there, you can see that it's about 97.35. Below that, I think we're probably back in business for a double bottom and even a break of the low there. So that's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on. We had some big runs last night on the yen pairs, euro yen, Aussie yen. We're in the Aussie yen currently. Still up some pretty good pips, but we were up some incredibly good pips in the middle of the night, about 265 pips to be exact. It's pulled back a bunch. Still looking for this Aussie yen. Same kind of thing as it's bounced off this low to high there, which is about 220 pips. Crazy, ridiculous bounce. This is why these yen pairs are so interesting. I'm looking to get back below about 98 area, and if we get below that, I think we're headed very potentially into a double bottom and hopefully a break of that bottom. So that's what I'm going to be looking for on the Aussie yen coming up here. We've broken out of the channel. Everything's looking pretty good. But I am concerned a little bit about closing with a big daily hammer like this. This could be a recipe for a huge reversal, so we're going to keep an eye on that. If we don't get a little more retracement, like get below this 23% fib much sooner than later, then this could be headed back up the other way. So that's what we're keeping an eye on. We're looking at. Best of luck, guys. I'll see you in the chat. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at daytradersfx. Just daytradersfx. See you guys.